Hi there, welcome to Finance Focus with Andrew, and today I want us to discuss Mansa X. Mansa X is one of the famous special funds in Kenya right now. 2 days ago, I did a video on the returns for Mansa X for quarter 3 2025, and a lot of people are excited by the 21.37%, but I want us to go beyond that excitement and get to understand what is Mansa X. It is very important to understand any investment wholesomely before you put your hard-earned money there. So that's why I want us to understand what kind of a fund is Mansa X, where do they invest, the risks that are involved, the returns that you expect, and who should really invest in Mansa X. In case you are coming across this channel for the first time, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you get notified anytime we get to post a new financial tip. Now, to our main theme, special fund. Before we move to Mansa X, let's get to understand what are special funds. Now, special funds are one of the category of investments that we call corrective investment schemes. I know you might have heard about corrective investment schemes, which are investments where fund managers correct money from investors. They invest in different avenues and get to give back returns after, of course, getting their management fees. Now, there are quite a number of investments in this category of corrective investment scheme, and the most famous is money market fund. I know you might have heard about money market fund. So money market fund is a brother to the special fund. So in the corrective investment scheme, we have the money market fund, we have the special funds, we have the equity fund, we have the fixed income fund, and we have the balanced funds. But today, specifically, I want us to talk about special funds. Now, let's go to this interesting special funds called Mansa X with a very fancy name, Mansa X. So there's nothing funny with the name. It was inspired by a guy who was the 9th emperor of Mali, Mansa Musa. He was so wealthy after investing in so many commodities, and that is where the Standard Investment Bank, who are the fund managers for Mansa X, got their inspiration from. Now, Mansa X is the largest special fund in Kenya, and we can back this by data. By quarter 2 2025, by the end of the quarter 2 2025, Mansa X had an asset under management of 65 billion for the Kenya Shillings Fund. That meant 57.4% of all the special funds in Kenya. The USD fund had around 9 billion, that 10 billion actually. That is around 9% of the total special funds in Kenya. So Mansa X alone, that is the USD and Kenya shillings, command about 66% of the special fund market. No, so it is a special fund that is attracting a lot of people. It is a special fund that is worth discussing. Now, let's go to the key features that you need to understand about Mansa X. Number one is the fund manager. The fund manager for Mansa X is Standard Investment Bank. Then it is important to, I always say that when it comes to collective investment schemes, the minimum due diligence you can do is to confirm that that particular fund is regulated by the Capital Market Authority, and you can confirm that Mansa X is regulated by Capital Market Authority. Their custodian is the I&M Bank. Custodian is the institutions that holds money on behalf of the fund manager. We have the trustee to be Kingsland Court's trustee. Trustee is there to represent the interest of the investors. Another important thing that you need to understand about Mansa X is the minimum amount that is needed at the point of joining. The minimum amount that you can make at the point of joining is 250,000 for Kenya shillings and 2,500 for USD. The minimum top-up amount is 100,000 and for Kenya shillings and 1,000 USD for the USD fund. I know that by now you have already seen some of the restriction that might not make special funds as famous as money market fund. To join, you need a lump sum of 250,000. To top up anytime, you need to have a lump sum of 100,000. Where else, when it comes to money market fund, majority of the money market funds do not have the set top-up minimums, do not have the set minimum initial capital. Then you need to understand that there is also a lock-in period of 6 months. It means that after you invest, you cannot withdraw your money before 6 months are over. There is nothing fishy about that. This is a special fund. They invest in a lot of avenues, as we will see in a few minutes, and they really need to plan your their funds. So you cannot give them their money today and then you say that you want the money tomorrow. That is the purpose, the whole purpose of the lock-in period. Then the redemption fee is at 0%. It means that when you are withdrawing your money from the fund, there are no charges. Of course, there is a management fee of 5% per annum. That is prorated daily. Then there is something that we call performance charges. So let's try to understand performance charges. You see, there is at times that these funds, these special funds, will perform extremely well. Last year we saw some special funds giving an interest of 29%. So that is an extreme performance. And now for Mansa X, for Kenya shillings, the extreme performance is treated to be a performance above 25%. So if they give you a 25% per annum above that, for that amount that you get that is above the 25%, the commission, they will charge you a performance fee of 10% of that amount. And for the USD, if the performance goes beyond 15%, that is a good performance. And for the percentage that are above that, they will charge you 10% as performance charges. Like if they do extremely well, you need to thank them for investing well and giving them good returns. That is what we mean by performance charges, in case you are confused. Now, let's talk about risk and special funds. Now, I will keep referring to the money market fund because that is what a lot of people know. We realize that money market funds are low risk, low return investments. And what makes an investment a low or high risk? It is the kind of investment that they make. You need to realize that money market funds are restricted to invest their majority of the money in government securities, especially the Treasury Bills. That is why money market funds are regarded to be low risk. But when it comes to special funds, their wings are wide open. They are not restricted to invest in government securities. They are allowed to invest in a very wide range of avenues. That's why they are able to deliver returns that are better than the market average. And that also makes them to have a higher risk than the money market fund. So if you want to join the special funds, you need to realize that as much as they can deliver good returns, as far as you see them talking about 21%, there are also higher chances of making losses. Of course, we don't expect any fund to make those extreme losses because they have been in the game for quite long. I think Mansa X has been in the game for around 6 years. They have employed professionals, so we don't expect them to make so huge losses. But realize that everything is possible. So just understand that the risk here is higher than that of a money market fund, and that is why you are getting better returns in exchange. So Mansa X, to be specific, they invest in both the local and the global market. And in the local market, they invest in cash and cash equivalents. They invest in fixed income securities, that is the treasury bonds. They invest in NSE derivatives. They invest in NSE equities, that is shares, and also invest in the NSE EFT. When we come to the global market, they invest in single stocks and also stock indices. They invest in fixed income securities. They invest in derivatives. They invest in precious metals. They invest in currencies and also invest in commodities. You see, they are investing in a very wide range of commodities. So that is good in one way and good in the other way, because if you have invested in all these avenues, it is less likely that all these avenues will go down at the same time. But they are also investing in some avenues that are quite high risk. So a small change might bring so much effect onto the fund, but just understand that the risk is higher than that of a money market fund. So if you are someone who cannot handle risk, kindly stay at the stage of your money market fund or the treasury bills and the treasury bonds that are quite secure. Now, what kind of returns has Mansa X been posting? We will use the 2025 returns. And in quarter one, they reported, okay, it is important to note that special funds report their performance on a quarterly basis. You see, the rates in a money market funds changes on a daily basis. When it comes to special funds, the case is quite different because for them, they report and give you returns on a quarterly basis. That is why our figures are in terms of quarter. So for quarter 1 2025, that is the month of January, February and March, they gave a return of 4.89%. Quarter 2 2025, they gave a 6.05%. And quarter 3 2025, they gave a return of 5.09%. So up to now, up to there, that is up to the 30th of September 2025, Mansa X had given a return of 16.03%. Quarter 4 2024, because we are yet to do quarter 4 2025, they gave a 3.78%, and their annualized return is 21.37%. What do we mean by this annualized return? You see, we have already done 4.89, 6.05, 5.09. So far, for the 3 quarters, they have done 16.03%. So assuming that they'll do an average of what they have done on all the other quarters, that is 16.05 divided by 3. That is what they'll do in quarter 4. So it is coming to 5 point something. So if you add 5 point something to 16.03%, that is what that will give you 21.37%. They have already delivered 16.3. So they are assuming that for quarter 4, they will do an average of what they have done in the other 3 quarters. And they are expecting to deliver at 21.37% for the entire year. So they're also telling you that for 3 years, they have done their 3-year average. They have done an 18.72%. So it is clear that the fund has been doing quite well. And for the 5 years that they have been in operation, they have done an average of 17.94%. So that is just to confirm to the investors that the fund has been doing quite well. But those are the key features that you need to understand when it comes to investing in Mansa X. It is a special fund, not a money market fund. So understand that you are taking a higher risk. So sit down with yourself, ask yourself whether you are able to handle higher risk than you have been handling. Maybe whether you have the capacity to invest the 250,000 and to make a top up of 100,000 anytime you want to do a top up to accommodate a lock-in period of 6 months. So it is very important that you get to understand about the fund, and I believe I have shared quite a lot of information that you really need to think through before you get to make that decision. So that is it for Mansa X. In case you have any question regarding the fund, drop it in the comment section and be sure that it will be addressed. If you found this video helpful, ensure to subscribe to the channel, share it to someone whom you think needs this kind of information so that you can get this message of financial literacy to as many people as we can. Until next time, stay financially woke.